Welcome to the 18th episode of the Out on Loan podcast. As always, I'm your host, Jeffrey Canova, and I'm joined by a big group today in our second episode of 2026. Obviously, we got the inclusion of the big three with Isaac Hausen and Kieran Keneally, and of course, as always, my co-host, Richard Chardy, who was going to make it late, but he clutched up and made it to the episode. Episode that I think we're going to title Disappointment After Disappointment, because not a good Sunday or weekend in general for us Madrid fans, United fans. Interesting start to 2026, especially for United fans, for obviously the recent sacking of Ruben Amorim and the confusion as to where this team will be going on. But of course, during that reign of confusion, there's obviously games to be played, including the FA Cup tournament, where of course United, in the most United fashion, just go out in a sad misery way, 2-1 loss to Brighton. And of course, with the way the episode's organized, I got the two United fans at the bottom. Guys, I don't know, did you even watch the game? What was it, man? Were you, I don't know, choose.
I mean, I wish I didn't watch it, but I did. It was just like you said, sad. I mean, it was like I think the worst part is that Brighton made like 5 or 6 changes to their starting lineup, and they still like easily beat us. Like it wasn't even like a full strength Brighton team that beat us. It was like their B team, and I mean, I don't know if you can see my name on here. I put "All Hope Is Lost" for my
Oh, we have it there. Don't
description
worry, Doc.
because that's how I feel. Like the season is gone. It's you were right, Jeff. Back in August, the season's done for us. It's over. It's just over. I mean, out of the Carabao Cup and out of the FA Cup, which means we're only going to play 40 games this season, which is the lowest since 1915, which is only because of World War One. So this is
Oh
a
wow.
historically bad season for us. And like it's just everywhere. The squad, the players, the management, the ownership, everything just reeks on this team. Like there's just nothing to smile about other than like maybe Sheshko scoring a couple goals, but even then, that's like grasping at straws. I, it's, it was a really bad game. It was horrible.
Yeah. Richard, you got anything, man?
I mean, Kieran just said the same thing that I was gonna say, like spot on. I also wish I didn't watch this game, but unfortunately, I went to my good luck charm sports bar that I like to go to for Man United games, and I think I have like a record of 4-1 there of all the games that I've been to so far this season. So I thought, maybe with all the dull news of like Amorim getting sacked, FA Cup, this is like a tournament that we've historically done well. I think we have like the second most wins there after Arsenal. I thought, hey, maybe you know what we could kind of like kickstart our season again, start off something new after the New Year's. But same old, same old. And I mean, what can you do? You you put out a good starting lineup. You play four at the back. You play with three midfielders. And what difference does it make? Nothing. You can't even beat a Brighton B team. And it just goes to show once again the ownership, the management, the ones up top, they're clueless. They don't know what they're doing. Genuinely, like I thought they had a plan and everything, but it's like they scrapped it halfway through, made it really expensive on themselves again, and it's kind of like, where do you even go at this point till May? You're gonna play like maybe 18, 19 or so Prem odd games, and with like Arsenal and Man City coming up on our schedule, like we could slide down very easily. And what seemed like top four was very manageable, achievable, even like fifth place to at least get us to Champions League. Even now, that's starting to seem like a distant memory, despite us playing like one games a week. And I don't know, man. It's like all hope is lost. Season is over. Thank you, Ineos. Thank you, Glazers, for once again ruining the freaking season. I hope you're happy with what you did, and ruining the lives of Man United fans. Like that 2-3 hour slot that they look so forward to every weekend. And usually it'd be twice a week with like European games, but even that's gone. So yeah, you know 2028. That's your time. The fact that I'm even giving you till 2028 is crazy. Like, I wish y'all left right now, if not at the end of the season. That would make my life as a United fan. But that's not going to happen. That's not how reality works. So you just deal with what it is at this point.
Right, Isaac, I don't know if you wanted to chip in before I give my thoughts.
I mean, yeah, I think it's just kind of sad. I think I've been hearing the same thing over and over again for the past 4, 5, 6+ years of my life. Like, I'll have gone through and graduated college, and I think heard the exact same topic of conversation around Manchester United, which is just kind of crazy. It's sad, and from the outside perspective, I don't really know what can be done. You started this segment talking about like everyone their bad weekends. I'm off to a pretty good weekend right now with the Sabres. 12 wins out of their last 13. They're hoping to get into the postseason for the first time in 15 years, but obviously, or I think 14, 15 years, but a long time of that was the drought. And that was a top-down. That's the same thing I'm seeing with United. Players, coaches, development, ownership, GM, whatever it was. Top-down, it was a wreck for 10 years of my life. I didn't want to turn them on, didn't want to watch them. And it sounds a lot similar to what I've been hearing out of United. And I think it starts with ownership, and whether it be a wake-up, whether it be a change, whatever it is. I think it's always the top down when it's something like this. I think we know the heights that United can reach. We've seen some spurts, some moments throughout these years, but it just I don't know. You need real systematic change if you're going to bring about any long-term success from this United squad.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think when we talked about our first reactions in the podcast to the sacking of Ruben Amorim is, well, for anyone that wanted him out, just for the sake that he was a bad manager or anything like that, or the inexperience. Well, here's the thing why there's a lot of people that want him in. It's not due to the fact that he's the best manager in the world, or we just don't think that he has this or that. You can make that argument. The thing was, we don't want to see the same repetition over and over and over again, where the same issues are going to be present for the next few years. And I look at your hat, Aricha, and I look at the Dodgers, right? It's a good franchise right there. Good owners that have a good system. Good
fantastic owners. Forget good. Fantastic ownership. The best owners.
The best owners probably right now in baseball. History of winning, especially more recently now, brings in the talent, have a great academy. Even though they're one of the richest franchises in the world, they spend that money in the right way. They have the right people around them. And guess what? There's just good vibes. Good vibes around within the organization, or among the workers, among the community, even through the hardships that LA might be going through with the recent ice situations and all that. They're still in there. They're not perfect, but at least they try to maintain it through winning and stuff like that. What else can I say about the Dodgers? Because, it just saddens me that franchises that are Manchester United, and I think besides Madrid and Barca, I think they're the top 3 or probably arguably number 2 in the world in terms of just brands and stuff like that. And it's just the same things that we're going to be seeing. So, again, I'm going to restate my statement. The Ineos, Glazers, just get out, sell the thing, or you better wake the hell up and figure this out in terms of just figuring out. You got one thing right, which is going to be the stadium renovations and the training facility renovations. That's a good start. That's a good start. But now I need the people that you sign, the sporting directors, and how about this? A little bit more of consistency. Because this cannot go on any longer in terms of we're going to dump a manager and then we haven't even known if Ollie's going to be in there or not. He might be announced soon.
Yeah.
I think he might be soon.
Can I make a comment on that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's how I mean, okay, it's been 5 days since I've been hearing Ollie's getting in for. How does it take this long to decide an interim manager?
You're absolutely right too.
Genuinely. It should be Ollie or I forget. I think it was Carrick that they're deciding between. How is it taking more than 5 days to put what should be a temporary manager into this team to try and revive something out of it? And it's Saturday going into Sunday. Sorry, Sunday going into Monday, and we still don't know what's going to happen there.
It's embarrassing. This is what I mean when I said it's poor management, and I think Ollie should have been the manager by now. I mean, the interim, I should say. I don't think we want to. I think for me that we've been through that, especially in our early college years, Isaac and Kieran. I know he had his flaws here and there. Maybe he's not the right guy, which is why they brought Ten Hag in. But the thing that I think we can agree on is maybe he's the type of manager that can just keep the ship afloat, get top 5, maybe top 4 if you're lucky. Bring the good, positive energies if you can. But like I said to all United fans that Ron and Ruben now, don't complain now if he stays for beyond this period that is going to be on here, because Ruben Amorim is not the problem that you want out. The one that you want out should be these owners, because now we don't know who the next manager is going to bring in. We don't know what their next plan is, and if I'm going to put my money on for 2026 or 2027, I should say, as to what will happen to the next Man United manager, then you might get fired. You might get fired, and then the cycle resets. I will put all my life savings that will happen if Ineos and the Glazers are still in charge, or whoever's running this ship right now, because this ship is turning into shit, and I'm just being straight up right now. Like it's just a mess. It's just a mess, and like Isaac said, it's just embarrassing that it's now 5 years, probably more, 6 years,
Man,
7
it's
years.
it's 13 years.
Oh, sorry,
like,
13 years of the same
2013.
thing.
Like, yeah.
And what's
Well,
so
actually,
worse
20
is,
years. 20 years, really.
Actually, yeah. If we're counting that, 21 years. Ever since
They
Yeah.
took
the
over in
Glazers
2020, or they took over in 2005.
Right,
so
that's
20
correct.
21
and the
years,
ship just keeps going down and down and down and down to the point where
the ship's already sunk. Now it's just probably getting dug deep into the ocean.
yeah,
bed.
it's just getting molded now, and like all the little bacteria in the undersea are just like
It's like
just
the
chomping into
Titanic,
it.
where like anyone that even tries to attempt to get close to it also dies by proxy in like very mysterious ways. Like it's even taking billionaires, like the Glazers are losing all this money. It's that
You're
weird
not
like
wrong there.
black hole in the sea.
Yeah. that's a
No,
good
I
point.
completely agree. And I was gonna say this. It's gotten that bad for United. I've been seeing United fans being like, "Man, I miss the days where we had Martial, Rashford, Pogba, McTominay."
They used to call them the Blackchester United
I'm like, wow.
with Ollie at
Like,
the wheel.
you remember that? You missed that? How far have y'all fallen, man?
And they were complaining
with
back then,
that team,
too. They were
yeah, with
complaining back then.
that team, we finished second twice. Just to let you know.
Right. And it
So,
still wasn't good enough.
yeah.
So, and now it's like you have players that like they're just not.
And now
don't even
just
compare
when
to
it seemed
them.
like
it's
just when
gone
it seemed
bad.
like just when it seemed like the manager was starting to figure it out, have another winter and summer transfer window with like the players that he wanted, with like a good at least like a solid bench that could like replace some minutes. Oh, guess what? You spoke against the board for slightly speaking out because you were not supporting you, quote unquote, not supporting you in the winter. Sacked. £10 million down the drain. Another 10 million for like paying Sporting, whatever. No plan, no vision, just nothing. And I'm just confused at this point what this ownership wants.
And I when I say the season was over, I just thought that Ruben Amorim was going to stay beyond longer than happened. And I just said because I don't think you guys have the quality of players to even pull this off to win anything really. Maybe top 4, but like if you're expecting a decent title run, FA Cup run, you weren't even in. Were you in European games? I don't even know what European championship. Are you even in champion? I don't even know.
Nothing. No, we're not.
Oh, man,
We're
nothing.
nothing.
There is no
Nothing,
Europe.
bro.
We finished 15th last year. Our only way of Europe was winning the Europa League, and we lost that 1-0 against Tottenham.
I don't even know. That's how bad, because I don't even remember if they even made European qualification. That's how bad United's been. I don't even remember, and I usually do. I'm like, oh, usually Europa League, or they're in the Champions League here and there. Nope. So there's nothing. There's season's literally over. I mean, seriously, It's literally done. That's it, because we got knocked out. But you know what Manchester team isn't done yet, because they still have more to compete, and they're just the way better team right now and way better organization, even if their greatest manager leaves. It's Pep Guardiola, man. Man City, 10-1 win against Exeter City. I know it's 10-1. I know it's a low division team, but I think we just got to give a special mention to Rodri and the debut goal of Semenyo. You want to look at the difference between a great organization and a poor organization. Just look at that. Just look at that. Let's look at that. A goal by Rodri, who was out with an ACL for a long time, and just comes in with a banger. And all I'm saying for all the other big teams out there in Europe, Rodri's inclusion into this team is absolutely massive, because now you have a player in there who's a dictator of the game, and just an enforcer to help on that back line. I think Man City, I think from what we've seen today, you get back that clutch player in Rodri and just the controller in there as well. So it's just kind of scary. And now you add Semenyo to that, who's picking up form. Jesus Christ, man, this Man City team, man. I don't know how they do this. I don't know how they pull this off every time. You have no competition for Doku, for Foden, for Sherky, and now you get probably arguably the best midfielder in the world when he's fit and when he's ready and when he's locked in. And he's starting to slowly get into that with the performances, especially the last weekend, and just the goals now. Now he's scoring rockets again like he did back in 24, 25. It's not fun. Not fun. But yeah, I don't know. Thoughts on Rodri's return? I think that's going to be massive, especially for Champions League. I know Isaac Bayern.
I mean, like if he stays fit, it would be massive for them. But that's kind of been the problem with Rodri over the past year.
Right.
Is he's struggled to stay fit. But yeah, I mean, right now the way their squad looks, it's a lot stronger than last year, at least when they had a lot of injuries. But I'm a little worried for their defense. I mean, they lost Diaz, they lost Bardiol for at least a couple of weeks, if not months. So that's like the one area I would be concerned about. But I mean, if they can just outscore opponents every game like they used to do, then they could definitely get a title charge going. But I wouldn't say they're like, I don't know. I think they'll be better, but I'm not like totally convinced that they're going to win the title.
Right. No, that's why I said all teams in Europe, because I think in Champions League, I think that's going to be massive.
Yeah.
But Premier League, I mean, yeah, I think with the loss of Diaz and Rodri, and then the next team we're going to talk about is Arsenal. But Isaac, I know you wanted to get your thoughts too.
Yeah, I was gonna say that exactly. Like, I think that's why they scare me a bit more Champions League with those injuries, is because they can take their time with getting some of those guys back. And even if there is a gap more in the Premier League table at that time, I think we're way past Pep and Man City recognizing like having to win the league every year. I mean, it's obviously a goal they go into every year. It's something they're striving for, and it's something they want to do, but they don't need that for their legacy. I think it's a goal that they'd love to accomplish, but I think that Champions League still means more, and I think it's still more the goal for that team. So I'd still even say that if you got to make that call at the end of the day, let's say with that depth or with that team, Champions League or the league, I think they're going to take the Champions League anyway. And now if you have Rodri back, which we already know what he does, I mean, we can just repeat the same thing over and over again. We know how important he is for that team when he's healthy. It's a scary team. It's another team that no one wants to play.
Completely agree. I completely agree. I think more so for the Champions League teams. I think in Premier League, it's going to be tough now because now we're seeing Arsenal, right? Arsenal, they won 4-1 against Portsmouth, and they're going to continue on to the FA Cup. I know this is one of their main titles that they're looking at to win because, Arteta hasn't won that FA Cup since, 2020 during the pandemic year.
First season.
Proper. Yeah, and that wasn't a proper season. He just came in like halfway into the year because I think it was, funny enough, it was Unai Emery. It was Emery. And then he started failing a few games, and then they were like, okay, now we're going to trust fully in Arteta. And since then, since I think 2019, 2020, it's been all in the ship on Arteta. And look at them now. 4-1 against Portsmouth. And even through the struggles, right, I think this is the one thing that I'm going to give credit to Arsenal this year. There's been a lot of players that haven't been on form this year. I think Saka's been one of them. I know we expected a lot of things out of him. He hasn't been starting for the last few games. I know there was a period where he didn't play at all. Odegaard hasn't been at his sharpest. And I think Gyökeres has been an absolute disappointment. And I know Kai Havertz, who I know is essential to the way Arsenal play in terms of like their possession-based football at times when they go up the field, his pressing, everything, his hold-up, his link-up. He's essential to that team. He hasn't been playing for a while due to the injury that he got earlier in the year, I believe. But they're still finding ways to win, which is obviously the most important thing. They're still one of the best defensive teams in the world. I think, for me, the best. They're the best at pressing, I think, for me. I think we saw that in that Bayern game, the way they just consistently and physically just pressed the living life out of teams. But I think the one thing that they're figuring out this year that makes them so dangerous and that's going to make them even bigger as a team, right, is the fact that they're winning games, and God forbid they win the Premier League, because they're finding out ways to win. And one of them I think that they're going to start doing right now is Martinelli. Gyökeres hasn't been playing great as striker. Kai Havertz is out. Gabriel Jesus, that dude has just been beyond wash for like the last 2 years. And Martinelli, I think today scored a hat trick, but I think it just shows the qualities of Martinelli. I think he's one of the best finishers in the Premier League, or on that Arsenal team, arguably the best finisher alongside Gyökeres. And you just saw today, I think he's just a striker and he's not a left winger per se. So now that you have a player like that, okay, let's put him at striker. And then you put other players around like Madueke, like Saka or Eze or whoever else you want to put in there. Maybe you get more of I keep on forgetting their youngster that Namwari, I think that's how you pronounce his.
Wanyeri, yeah, Ethan Wanyeri.
You can get him on the left, on the right. They look just dangerous in that sense, right? That they can, just find out ways to incorporate pieces. And I think Martinelli, is going to have to play more games at striker if they're going to figure out what to do to get the best out of Saka, the best out of Odegaard, and just, I don't know, figure out ways to win because Gyökeres hasn't been working, and we saw with Kai Havertz, his inconsistencies at finishing has just been a problem, even if he does come back. So we have to wait and see how it turns out. But Arsenal, man, it's looking good for them, man. If you're an Arsenal fan, you're very happy, especially if you ride or died with your manager since the tough times and knowing that you have to just be patient for when he's ready to have the right pieces around him and when the whole squad and the whole organization is ready to go. I don't know if you want to get your thoughts on Arsenal.
Yeah, I agree 100%, Jeff. I actually have a fun little game for all of us actually right now because you talked about that 2020 FA Cup squad, that victory versus Chelsea. I want to see how much of the starting 11 we all could name right now on the spot.
Okay.
Who was starting for that Arsenal 11? I believe the website it has is a 3-4-2-1 they played with.
3-4-2-1.
Oh, back three.
Yeah, so I want to see how many of that starting 11 we can name. Anyone want to go first?
Eddie Martinez.
Yes, he was in
okay.
that.
Was Kieran Tierney starting by chance?
Yes.
Ooh.
Yes, he was one of the
Granit Xhaka.
on that back three.
Oh yeah, Granit Xhaka.
Xhaka, yes, yeah, easy, yeah.
Definitely Aubameyang and Lacazette.
Yep, Lacazette. I think they technically had a striker wherever this was when then Aubameyang behind him had 2 goals in that game.
David Luiz, center back.
Yes, was one of the other 2 center backs.
Pablo Mari.
No.
Ooh.
Pablo Mari was not there.
Rob Holding.
Yes.
Rob
Holding. Okay.
What about I don't know if was Aspilicueta with them at that time?
No.
He was actually against. He was on Chelsea. He was playing against them in that game.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
Nicola Pepe?
No.
Pepe was in. Yes, he was the other attacker.
And Saka.
Saka, obviously. If they were playing a back four, I would have said, was Saka playing like left back or something?
Yes, because I remember he was playing left back.
That's where he first played.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know if he was starting though. If they started a back three.
We have a center mid and both their wide midfielders.
Oh, Mohamed El Nani.
No.
I got this. My boy, Danny Ceballos. I know he was.
Danny Ceballos was also in that midfield. Yes.
Danny Ceballos was with Arsenal at that time. That's crazy.
He was on loan. He was actually good, but then he actually turned out to be just the mid player that he is, honestly.
What was the missing position?
Both wide midfielders. One of them is more known. The right midfielder is more known as a fullback. I will say that might give it away.
Midfielder is a fullback.
The other was their left midfielder, technically, for that game, I think, or their right midfielder. However,
that mentioned Saka already, right?
Yeah, not Saka.
Reece Nelson.
No.
What? Didn't he not start only 2 years ago, 3 years ago?
One of these guys is a long-time Arsenal player. I think he plays for Betis now. If that gives it away for Jeff.
Hector Bellerin.
Hector Bellerin was.
Oh my God!
Man.
Oh my God!
He should have gone
Hector Bellerin. I should have gone Hector.
One left. This is probably the toughest. He's right now.
Lucas Torreira.
Oh, he did come on and substitute in that game. He's currently a right back, I believe, for Lyon.
I got no clue.
Ainsley Maitland-Niles.
Yes,
I know
that.
Wow. Prime AFTV. Prime.
That's
AFTV.
incredible.
But this is what I'm saying, guys. This is what I mean, and I know people are saying they're different. People don't understand when I say this, right? They think because Man United's a big team. No, they have to win now. They have to. I've come to accept. Maybe a few years ago, I would have said no. They need to get rid of this guy because they have to. But I've come to accept your team is just awful. Your academy hasn't been producing the god talents that they used to back in 2000, which is okay because there's a lot of academies that just have that year or period where they get the best players, but you haven't as of now because one of them, not gonna say who, was literally with a case, and then the other players just failed miserably. But like, literally, your team just isn't that good anymore. You're not the United that you used to be. We want you to be the United that you used to be, but you're not. Arsenal, we're in the same boat. They said to themselves, we're the Arsenal. We have to, even though it was crazy at the time, we're the Arsenal. We need to win this. We need to win it. But they stayed on with Arteta for the last 5 freaking years, and now they're really this close to winning the Premier League. And if they don't win, guess what? They're going up against the best institution, arguably, in the modern era in the Premier League, that is Manchester City. So even if they do lose out, it just sucks because they're in an era of the best team in the world. But look what they've done. Look at that team that they had. That was mid. You had Danny Ceballos. You had Lacazette. You had, I know he was good at the time, but the period he was ass. No offense. Sorry. Just had to state it out for the things that they wanted to win and achieve. I mean, you had a left back playing as a third center back, and you had Hector Bellerin, who for years has just been a problem at that team. But guess what? They ride or die with Arteta, just slowly building an identity, a continuity, and good vibes around the team, even if they do lose or win or whatever the hell. And this is the most likely where I put my money that they will win something. Maybe if it's an FA Cup, maybe they make the final to the Champions again, or guess what? They might just win the Premier League this year. And I've said this, wait out for your damn manager. But they don't listen.
Well, don't tell that to us. Karen and I are both on the same boat. So
I'm going to send this video to one of the Glazer guys.
Send that to Jim Ratcliffe. Send that to Omar Grado, who by the way, I said last episode, he might be a double agent working for City. Send that to freaking Jason Wilcox and whoever else is in that team. Rubbish, man. Oh, also Avram and Joel Glazer. Add them to the list too.
Yeah, so rubbishness. Yeah. You know who else is going to be added to that list? Crystal Palace, man. Come on, guys. Really? 2-1 loss to a 6th division team in Macclesfield FC? Yeah. Someone told me that's a Sunday League team.
Hey, up the Macs, man.
They have like part-time like electricians on that team, and they lost to them.
Oh, my God. Guys, what if they out alone FC? What if we made our own Sunday League team and we went to go out and play Crystal Palace? How much do you think would win by?
I think we're
gonna
How much? What if we played against Man United just right now? Like, what if we grab?
We have a good chance against United.
Nah, bro.
I'll get a few people. I'll get like 2 or 3 from LA.
Sheshko's gonna overjump us and score a header, guys. Come on now. Like,
Jeff,
let's be realistic here.
Do you want to go over my history, my medical history with the sport?
Isaac's twisted ankle. First minute.
I'm joking. Obviously, I'm joking. We would get absolutely smoked by these guys. And that Macclesfield team will probably whoop the floor. They're beating Crystal Palace. They'll whoop the floor. But you know who else is whooping the floor as well, just killing it as always? It's obviously Robin Stone Pictures as well. Shout out to Robin Stone Pictures for all the great work that he's been doing with our reels, uploading them on YouTube, our TikToks, everything. Shout out to you, Mr. Robin Stone. Please follow him at Stone Pictures as always. Shout out Robin as always. Much love to him. But now going back to our second segment. Oh my God.
Oh my God.
We got done with FA Cup. We got done with the misery that is Manchester United. Well, today was Super Cup day.
Good day, Jeff. 2 thumbs up.
No, 2 thumbs down. I think that first half was absolute cinema.
No, the last 5 minutes of that first half was absolute cinema.
It was absolute cinema. I mean, I said this in the show. It's really going to come down to what defense is going to be worse and which team is going to put their chances away. Who's going to have the momentum, who's going to control the game in those specific moments, and who's going to capitalize on those specific moments as well. And, you know, we saw it with, I think after the third goal went in, you just saw how much the team just – if you saw the third goal Barcelona scored, it was a 3-2 win for Barcelona, 2 goals by Rafinha, a goal by Lewandowski, and then for Madrid, obviously we had a great performance by Vinny, and a goal by Gonzalo Garcia, who had, I think, scored his first goal in a big major game like this throughout the year, this season, I think. But just overall, just wasn't a great performance by the team. I think I'm happy that I gave myself a few minutes to kind of just analyze the game in general. Because at first I was fuming and just bummed out, obviously, because I'm a fan of the team and I wanted to go rant on Xabi Alonso. I wanted to go rant on the players. And you can pick the fingers on, it was Xabi Alonso's fault for having the team set up so defensively with a 5-back. and just kind of completely running away from what worked in the first game, which is a completely different game. You can put the blame on the lineup selection. How I don't know if you guys saw this, but he had it was so embarrassing because I was just in shock when this happened. He had an original lineup come out, which was with almost the same structure and team that we had in the first El Clasico, where it was like the 4-man midfield with Arda, Tchouaméni, Kama, Bellingham, but instead of Mbappe and Vinny, it was Vinny and Rodrigo, and then Valverde at right back as always. But he switched it up, which I wasn't shocked by too. This is like I was shocked that he switched it like that, but I'm also not shocked. But then I got re-shocked again because I was like, oh wow, he went with Gonzalo Garcia Rodrigo, the 4-3-3. But he really, if you saw the game, he set it up with like a 5-line, 5-back, and then it was just poor. It was not the way I think he expected it. But can I blame him when our best center back was lost through Militao? Obviously, he's not going to be a part of that game, so our ball progression is lost. Our best aerial dual winner is gone as well in Militao, so our best center back's out. And then you got Rafinha coming in with Lewandowski, which has killed us in the past, 4 Clásicos that we lost to them in 2, not counting the one that we won because neither of them played. You could also talk about the physicality too, how poor Madrid was. I mean, we haven't been physically great the last 2 months. We looked tired. We looked gassed. So, I mean, there's a lot of things you can blame on. I think it's just a collection of everything. I think everyone's just saying it's Xabi Alonso's fault for the substitutions. But again, if you look back to, which is why I wanted to wait and see what was done, what was said. A lot of questionable substitutions, obviously with Vinny being subbed out, Valverde being subbed out when the game was right there. We had moments, we had chances, and then there were 2 arguably most important players get subbed out like that. It brings question marks into his managerial abilities. But again, physicality-wise, we saw after the game, Vinny and Valverde just asked for those subs because they were just physically shot. So it's just a mix of, you know what, man, this team which is why I said it's over. There's just so many glaring problems that I addressed earlier in the year, which I was concerned with. And then there's more that I can pick out from this game. I mean, I think mentality, we knew that's an issue. Wanting to turn up in a big game, that was another issue we picked up. And the other thing, I think the one thing that I didn't expect from this game was just the lack of depth and the lack of physicality. And it was evident today. I mean, that's one of the key things that I wrote about Barca. I mean, what are their pros? Rafinha, obviously coming back, which I'll get onto in a bit. Obviously, Flick, a way better manager than Xabi Alonso at this point because he's actually proven himself and won in these big tournaments and these big games. I think he's now, 15 for 15 in finals? He hasn't lost a final, which matters a lot for a coach, especially for a team like that. Then you're talking about depth and physicality. That was the other thing. And then consistency style of play. I mean, Flick has been with this team for 2 years now. So I think that's one of the big glaring things that I was just really concerned with this team is just how we lack depth. Obviously, we let go of Endrick, and then Mbappe's coming off with a knee injury, and then you have the youth of Gonzalo Garcia, who isn't the polished player that we want him to be yet, or isn't the player that we think he is. And then the right-hand side is just lacking because everyone's out of form. Our right backs are not there. We have no reliable center back, which is just embarrassing that it's been the case now for the last 4 to 5 years, that we haven't had a reliable backline for years now, ever since we lost really Varane and Ramos. So, I mean, what can I do to blame the manager? I'm not going to go out here and say sack him. He's a useless sack of you know what, because what can he do? He doesn't have a proper defense. Physically, we're shot, and there's question marks into what we're doing in training. Our offense has been inconsistent. We missed a lot of chances in the first half. And just poor performances from a few of our players, which is why I say it's a lack of quality as well. And I think what I can pick out is next year, I'm hearing we might get Schlotterbeck back. I know Bayern and Barca have been after him. It better not just be Schlotterbeck back. I'm talking about we need to get 3 more center backs because we're about to get rid of Rudiger. We're about to get rid of Alaba. We don't know what about Militao is, and I'm just so disappointed with Dean Horney's performances these last 3 months now since that derby back in September, where he's just been absolutely atrocious, absolutely unconfident, and just I don't know, just need more from him. And I think our midfield as well.
Comment about
go ahead.
So
yeah, go ahead, man.
With Dean, the situation could also be that 19, 20 years old, obviously young, just going to make mistakes, whatever. But at the same time, not having that, proper veteran center back leadership, with him in the game, that's missing from, whether you talk about a Militao, whether you talk about a Rudiger, whoever it is. Just not having them available and consistent due to their injury issues could also be the reason why he hasn't been, playing his best. We've seen him back in August, back in September, how good this kid can be, and it too. So I don't know. I feel like it could be kind of harsh to just sort of fully blame it on him. I know you're not blaming on him. You're kind of criticizing, which it's fair. But I guess what I was trying to say is the reason behind why the dip in form,
right?
And why it could be tough to bring him back.
Isaac or Kieran, I don't know if you want to chip in as well with what Aricha's saying or what you've been seeing from Madrid these last when you've had the chance. I don't blame you if you haven't, because they just are not that good to watch, to be quite honest with you. But I think to add on to Aricha, I'm not fully blaming it on anybody. I think it's just everywhere around. It's been a problem. Our board, our medical team. Every time we get someone back, it's crucial. Someone's lost. We lost Trent. We lost Carvajal, and then we lost Militao in a span of a week. When Jude was coming in, and Camavinga was coming in, and Tchouaméni was getting back to form, and you have Vinny coming in from injuries, and then you lose your whole back line pretty much. It's just that's been the case, and then obviously just everywhere around. You can point to Xavi's tactical approaches a few times. Maybe at the beginning of the game, maybe you shouldn't have approached it this way. The lack of signings, the lack of depth, the lack of quality. Maybe you bought too many of the players in the same position. I think we need three. I said we need 3 center backs. And then I think a midfield as well. I think we're just lacking that progressive type of player that we just missed since Kroos. I said it since we got Mbappe, but we lost Kroos. I said that's going to be tough to replace, because I know we get more goals with Mbappe, but you lose a great piece in Kroos, who was just able to not only be a leader on the field, but a player who can just open up the play, who can just dictate, who can just position players in the right way, who would, I think more importantly, just bring calmness and just allow us to alleviate pressure when we're starting to build up from the back. And we just can't do that with a player like Camavinga or Tchouaméni. And if you can do it with Jude, but then you saw today how, man, we could have used the player in the box for certain situations, or you could have used the Jude who was scoring goals back in 23, 24, where he's just that perfect of a player where you're just taking the best out of him. It's just I'm numb to this now. I'm really numb, and I think a lot of Madrid are numb. So this now is just we just got to wait till the end of the year, see what they bring in. I don't even want to get rid of Xavi. I'll just write it out, see how we do in the Champions League, see if we can get some players to start playing, and then just wait and see what comes around by next year. See if you can make the right signings and give Xabi Alonso the proper midfielder that he wanted and needed. Get him the center backs and just figure something out with our medical staff, because I can't bear this anymore with our team just being shot by the time it's January, where everyone's tired by the minute 70. And I didn't see that with Barca. Barca looked like they were physically in it. And then are just the injuries as well. It's just numb now, and I'm hoping that we don't sack him, because I don't want to be like United where we're just sacking managers for the sake of sacking, because what is the point of that? There's a lack of quality. And then God forbid that in the next 2 or 3 years we aren't saying the same thing. And God forbid I'm saying we're the new Manchester United, where we're just awful. And we're just living off the name.
Welcome to the club, man. To the club of numbness.
You know what it's like now, Jeff.
To the club of, man, let's just write it out. At least you got a manager to write it out with. We don't.
You still have your manager for now.
Yeah. We have an interim. They can't even choose a proper interim. You'll probably get the players that y'all want. You'll probably figure something out, because you still have Papa Florentino in charge. We got 2 Glazers and Ineos that's also glazing off the Glazers. Welcome to the club is all I'm gonna say.
I guess for the brief moment, welcome to the club. How people get the tensions and they get sent to the other room. I think that's where Madrid are. We're getting sent to that room where
you're putting time out for a bit.
You're putting time out right now, and that's fair. We're the most successful club, and again, I understand. I'm a Madrid fan. I'm a quote unquote glory hunter. I'm a quote unquote, why are you complaining? So you know what, guys, fair enough. I won't complain too much. Seeing my team win, seeing my team get destroyed, it's got to ride or die. But I would say this: I will not do not want to see this for like 4 or 5 years. I do not want that either as well. I'm just saying. But if it takes 2 to 3 years,
try 13.
yeah, or 13. God forbid 13 years. But if it's 4 3 years of just misery, that's fine. But hopefully by year 4 we figure this out and we get the right midfield, the right structure, the right team, and the right mentality. That's what I'm hoping for. But
hypothetically speaking, if it does go on for 13 years, like what would Jeff think? Like, would he still be a Madrid fan? Would he still be watching the games? Would he
I
lose
still
his
would
head?
be. I still would be. No, I still would support. I'd just probably be watching the sport less and less, probably.
Would you be like our class of 92, where the old heads, they just like complain about every single thing that they can find, even if it's, like, look at Gary Neville. Look at Gary Neville. He's been so quiet recently. Oh, look, you got whatever you wanted. Amorim out, 4 back. Oh, look, guess what? Same result. Dumbass.
Yeah, all the old heads. Look, I don't want to be that because, like you just said, I think I've seen it from a different perspective now, and I've seen it so many times where I'm like, yeah, I don't want to look like Gary Neville. Yeah, I don't want to look like Paul Scholes or
Paul Scholes.
Yeah.
Bro, even Keane has been much better recently. Like, it's crazy to say. Like, he's been way more level-headed and understanding.
Yeah,
it's these two that I don't understand, especially Scholesy. He surprises me. I don't know.
But I'll end it off by saying congrats to Barca. I think they're just a superior team. I think they'll be.
Wait. Sorry. One more thing. Marcus Rashford, I'm so proud of you, big dog, for finally getting another trophy. Like, you deserve it. I know you didn't start this game, but you've also been awesome too. Like, my man, make us proud, make Manchester proud. Keep doing what you're doing. Love you, big dog. Sorry, I'm done with my
He's not coming
I'm gonna
back,
clip
Richard.
this and I'm gonna send. He's not coming back, bro. It's in the past.
No, I know he's not coming back, but
bro.
I know he's not coming back.
Start.
I don't care. He's there. After Lamine Yamal, he's their best winger. Actually, no, sorry. Rafinha's been on. After both of them. After both of them. Funny. But there was a point where Rashford was their best winger. Like, you can't prove me wrong.
Well, he's definitely arguably England's best winger. You can make the case for that because Saka has been on form, and who are they going to put? Maybe Eze. I think Rashford.
Morgan Rogers, maybe.
I mean, Rogers, yeah.
Rogers and Foden's probably best spots are at the 10 and not really on the wings. I mean, that's probably what you want to see. But
look, man, left wing, nobody's touching for Marcus Rashford in that English squad.
I agree. I don't think anybody is. And you saw it today. Even today, when Marcus came in, I thought he was just
Jared Bowen. No, I'm joking.
Fuck no. Jesse Lingard.
So, guys, how about Jadon Sancho?
Jadon Sancho? Yo, I forgot about that guy.
Jadon Sancho's back in the past, man. Way back in the past. But I will say about Rafinha, I think I'll end it off with this. Barca, I'll give credit. I think, like I said, I think they have the depth. I think they have the physicality. But, man, since Rafinha's come back, they've been absolutely different as a team. And it makes sense. I mean, I think for me, he's one of the best finishers in Europe. And you saw today how much different they play. He's just a leader. He's a captain. He's running around. There was a one play where Vinny was trying to cut into the left, had all that space, and you just see Rafinha flying in and slide tackle the living hell out of his fellow teammate with the Brazilian national team and fellow friend as well. I like Rafinha, man. Look, he kills my team, but like as a neutral soccer fan, if you like the way he plays, just clinical, effective, efficient, and that's what you want in this modern game. You need players like that who can just come up every time in these big games and get you a goal, get you an assist, get you that one moment of brilliance, which all it takes to win a game. All it takes is to win a game. And right now, I think he's just been Barca's most important player and probably I wouldn't say their best player, but he's getting up there with how much they've been back to being that clinical, efficient team. Now, their defense is questionable, but they look like the favorites to win the league. And maybe another decent Champions League run, but like you said, I think their defense is just going to be really questionable by the end of the year. But yeah, man, congrats to Barca. Congrats to all Barca fans who are talking shit. Shout out to my uncle too. He just sent me a text after Barca scored the first goal. He was like, "That's the Barca way." And I was just like, I'm turning this game off. I'm turning this game off, and I'm just gonna watch a better sport, which I guess is gonna go into my next segment. But before we talk on to a little bit of a debate, as always, please subscribe and follow our YouTube account, and on Spotify as well, and follow all of our social media accounts, Instagram and TikTok, and hopefully our Twitter, which should be coming out really soon as well. But I turned off that Barca game, I think, right after the 2 misses, and I went back to go watching the Bills game. But I just wanted to end the show off with a little thing, right? I have a take, and I think I've kind of made this conclusion. Besides soccer, I think football is starting to really creep in terms of being an entertaining sport than soccer. It's starting to creep in. Like, I want to say this, guys. There's just too many games. I'm sorry. Soccer has too many games. There's just way too many games that are being played. It's ridiculous.
Try baseball. 162
Yeah, I would say, like,
regular season games.
Baseball, hockey, NBA, like, what are you talking about? At minimum 40s, like at minimum, like we get out of here with that.
No, I know that, but I don't know. There's just something about football, American football, the NFL, right? That has just been, and I know. We got a Ravens fan here, we got a Rams fan here, and we got a Steelers fans here, and I know it's over now. It's over. But I think for me, being more of a little bit of a neutral side because I don't follow the NFL that much beforehand, I'm just having fun watching the NFL. And I think this year is starting to creep in. It might be more entertainment to watch a football game on a Sunday night than watch a soccer on like a Champions League night. It's starting to.
Are you saying that because the Patriots are good this year, Jeff? Or are you saying
no?
Madrid starts to dip in form, and the
what
Patriots,
a coincidence!
No, that might be the part. That might be it. But it's just, I'm just a big fan of high quality games. I think this is why I have a problem with soccer right now. What I'm seeing or not from teams is there's not that much quality anymore. And I think part of it is due to injuries, obviously, which is what I've argued for like the last 6 years now, since there's too many games being played for our players. And that's my biggest criticism for NBA too, and for baseball, why I can't watch a full baseball season, because there's just so many games where I feel like your ability to slack off on the majority of the games that you play in is just going to be bad. Like, people are just going to slack off. I don't think in football, in the NFL, you can't slack off for any game because every game matters in your record, because guess what? You play 18 games, right? Imagine you're Manchester United or Real Madrid or Barcelona. And I don't say you have to play 18 games, but let's say you legit have to play like 15, 20, 30 games, right? The football quality and the effort from our players would just be 10 times better, I think, than what I'm seeing right now, because now you got to worry about management. Now you got to worry about international games, international break, the fact that now you have these pointless extra Copa del Rey games, and now Champions League just added more group stage games. Now you have like 2 more now. So now it's like now you got to manage yourself. It just gets boring to the point. And I think the quality of players have just gone down too throughout the years. Where like now, like before, I'd want to watch a Manchester United. I'd want to watch a Chelsea. I'd want to watch a prime Arsenal with Thierry Henry, but I'm just not seeing that. Like, the only teams that you might want to see is like a Barca, which is fair, or a Bayern, but even their league is just not that good. So it's just like, it's that in between where I'm just like, the quality's not there, and then there's so many games we play. What NFL is just like and it's just an entry. Like, I literally was like, dude, if Madrid are losing 2-0, I don't care. I might just watch the Bills game, for example. I just might watch that because it's more entertainment. Like, I had the camera right here side. I had the Eagles and 49ers game like on the side because I want to see that game, and I'm about to go watch that Pats game too because it's interesting. And we got Monday Night Football tomorrow too. So it's just like there's so much more engagement where I think soccer needs to really wake up with this and just start to realize, like, look, man, there's a lot of even casuals that are saying football you're losing soccer fans to this shit now too. So it's like soccer better wake up and just figure this out, because we can't be having this many games. Even the World Cup now, there's so many games at that World Cup now where it's like the quality of football is just not going to be that good.
World Cup, it'll be fine because it's World Cup. Like, they'll try their damn hardest.
And you also didn't have it because you have more countries, so now you got more opportunities and more games. Right. So you're going to increase your viewership just off the sheer fact you're going to have more countries participating.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just concerned more so to like the amount of games played and the quality, and I think that's what I like about NFL now. It's just so entertainment, and like the fact that every play matters, every game matters. And for soccer, it's starting to become like NBA. I just feel like that's what it's starting to become. A lot of injuries, a lot of load management, a lot of players are slacking off, a lot of effort being lost with some players, a lot of money being handed out too for some players that probably don't even deserve it. And then it's just the injuries too. That's killing off your best technical players who aren't maybe that physically dominant, but I mean, who wants to watch freaking Ugarte, who's a physical specimen, but dude cannot do a Travella pass. I don't know if you saw that play, Kieran.
Dude, that
I
midfield
did
was
see that. He
painful.
took out Bruno today.
I don't
He
know.
almost took out Bruno.
I know.
Yeah.
Isaac, I don't know. Before we end up, I know you're kind of against it. Give your thoughts. I mean,
Yeah, well, it's funny. I don't know. I like that you threw out all the players getting money now. Like, didn't like Chandler Parsons get like $50 million from like the Grizzlies in like 10 years ago in the NBA or something like that?
Right.
Something crazy like that. So every sport has handing out outrageous contracts.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I've talked about it before the show started. I'm kind of the opposite. I started as a football fan, just as a kid, and American football, I should say, has sort of fallen off the most out of any of the sports I've watched. I think as I've gotten older, I'm the kind of the opposite of that. I very much see why the NFL is the market is the size that it is. Every reason you said I completely understand, and I see why that's an appeal for so many more people. And I think I'm a little bit more just unique in that sense. I'm someone where baseball is my favorite sport. I like the 162 games. I like the feel that every single day there's an opportunity to change your season. I would push back too on that that ideology that there's that like natural sense of like being a little lazy or complacent just because you play so many games. I can understand the sentiment, and I definitely think it happens in moments. But the first time you're really playing 162 games in a year is like when you reach the majors. Even in college, even in travel, even in youth ball, and even in the minors, they're not playing that many games. You're playing a lot of games, and it ramps up as time goes on. But that's to get to the majors. Once you're in the major leagues, you're in the majors. You're not taking that. And as of any professional sport, you're the mental aspects in that game. You're always on the ball. You're always working. You're always doing something. So I just don't think that's the same. I think any sport is going to have that mentality, is going to have those same stressors. I like having that more time. I like letting something develop, and which is what you get with the season. Like we're saying right now, you went on the show and said that Real Madrid's season is over, based off of how based off this many amount of games.
Right.
Football, let's say maybe around the halfway mark for football. Well, we talk about like you can't start with the Ravens. Sorry, Kieran, you can't start off 0-5 and make the postseason. You can start off and lose your first 5 games in a Premier League season and go on to win the title. Sure, maybe it's unlikely, but it's a lot easier to happen because of the amount of games you're going to play. And I like the way that things can change and fluctuate. Again, another Sabres reference. We were worst team in the division at one point this year. 12 out of 13 wins. We're in a playoff spot right now off of that. And we still have a lot of the season left to go. I like that change. I like how things develop. I like having breaks. I like forcing managers to adjust and change their season, which I don't think you get a lot of as much with the NFL, just because of how much you're right. It is week to week. You kind of go into the season with a plan. Sure, some things are going to change and have to develop, but you know what you are. You know what consistently who you are going to be the entire time. You hear about it in all these games. When you're talking, listen to these postseason games and how much these announcers are talking about. This is the stuff they've done all season. This is the same thing because of the same team the exact way through, and that's why they are so good. That's why they're at these moments. I prefer a Pepper and Arteta squad where we get to listen to and see the different ways that they've evaluated and changed their game. I'm looking forward to for this Bayern squad. What changes did we make out of this winter break? We've had a month off, basically. How do we change our game throughout a full season to get to that second half of the season? Now you have all these multiple tournaments. You see it with the NBA. You see it with, maybe not as much baseball and other sports, but you're seeing that evolution that I like that way more, where you're opening things up. You're almost taking that soccer approach because soccer is growing in the United States. It's growing arguably faster than we've seen it in a while since 1992 when it was here last, I believe.
Right.
So
Completely.
I think we're Americanizing the sport, if anything more than that. So I think your call that, in a weird way of like asking soccer to wake up, is doing kind of what you're already wanting us to do, which is to turn into that more American style of the game. If that's working back to the start of that, if what I say makes sense.
Right. No, I completely agree. I'm just more looking at it as I think more quality in the games that are being played, and I think just ramp down the games, because I think there will be a decrease in just the amount of injuries and the amount of your stars being injured. And it could be that football maybe is in a weird transition too, where like we don't have the superstars that we used to have in Ronaldinho, Ronaldo. I mean, maybe we're blessed. Maybe we're just blessed to live in that era where we had Ronaldo and Messi going battle for battle here and there. We had the likes of Alexis Sanchez's and Ozil's and here and there, and you had Pogba's coming in, Martial's at their primes, at their peaks. You had Suarez and Neymar's. You had the crazy Atletico Madrid. Like, you had a variety of teams, but now it's like even back then with Valencia teams that you knew had teams like Parejo and Gamero and Sevilla as well. Just a decrease in that could be a factor into why I'm thinking this way. Maybe other people are as well, but I don't know. I think maybe just lessening the game, and just maybe we're on a weird period as well. That's what I just want to say. But NFL, I think the quality the amount of importance there is in the game, the amount of tension. That's what I've come to realize when I'm watching a Super Cup like today, and then a wild card game between, I don't know, the 49ers and the Eagles versus like Bills and Jaguars. But
Mhm. Just real quick about that. It could also be the fact that it's NFL playoffs right now, so it's going to be like, even better,
Right,
and
that
like
too.
the quality is going to be, there's going to be more stress, intensity, whatever. But then at the same time, like about NFL quality, funny enough, even and I'm pretty sure like Isaac can also vouch for this. Like I'm pretty sure NFL fans are also complaining about how the game has softened and how the refs have made it a no fun league, and how like the player quality of the players have gone down. With I mean, like you could see like the quarterbacks, like at one point there used to be like the Mannings, the Bradys, the Staffords. I mean, Stafford at 37 is like a prime MVP candidate. You had Philip Rivers, who was retired for 4 years, comes back and throws a 280-yard 3 touchdown games. You get what I mean? It's like the defense and whatever you want to call it, it just hasn't been at the prime, quote unquote, prime quality as you would like it. And the point about like shortening the games and season, I don't know, man. It could also just be the fact that we're like in the modern era where we just like things less and less, like short quality,
That too.
short forms of content. So it's like with NFL, short amount of games. But like the downside of it is like, look at the Colts season. They were 7-1 at one point. They lose their quarterbacks and other injuries, and they miss the playoffs. When maybe in like an NBA season, a soccer season, it could be like, oh, just like 1 month of bad form or 6 weeks of bad. Like we'll be back again.
That's
But
right.
can't do that in NFL. It's like
No.
it's like you're like one injury, one thing away from like just completely losing it, or maybe completely being back from it. Which I guess at the end of the day, I think it really does come down to like each individual's preference. Like I'm like also the type of guy that I like, some like long amount of games, just let the season grow out, because I think it just gives like a really good storyline and a good like adventure of like how a team goes through certain challenges, certain like high levels of games, with like whether it's like with baseball, basketball, soccer. And then it's not like I like completely dislike the NFL. Like I like the NFL too to some extent. It's also entertaining. But I think it's more or less the fact that like what you prefer, rather than like, oh, this is what we gotta do, shorten it, and that's how we'll make the most money and most quality. I don't know. That's just my take.
One more thing too, sorry, before we end it off here. I agree 100%. I think another thing to add on with that longer seasons is like the family aspect as well. One thing I respect a lot for baseball, where you're playing 162 games. I know, granted, half of those are home as well, but when you're on the road, you're away from your family, you're away from a lot of people for longer periods of time versus the NFL season, where, yeah, sure, you may be on the road, you're away from like that Thursday to the whatever that you fly home Sunday, maybe it's Monday, depending on when it is, but you're home, you have those time periods versus a long, strenuous season where, especially if you're in the postseason, then that adds on to October and so forth and so on. But I think going back to a point with like the medical and quality and injuries, this is a point where I think you are right, Jeff, where soccer needs to wake up or change the way that they're thinking. Is the NFL has basically been 16 weeks like throughout entire life for decades. Just changed to 17, whatever. Maybe we'll move to 18. Baseball's almost always been 162. NBA's always been 82, all that.
82,
These leagues know how to, and medical and science knows how to adjust and how to heal over that amount of time frame. And maybe I'm saying that correctly. We know what that toll looks like on the human body because it's been going on for decades and decades and decades. FIFA now adding all these games, we haven't seen that. We've had this sort of set record. And if you're going to keep growing these games and the number of games they're playing, you need to take a step back and realize we're not going to be able to figure that out medically in just a year or two. That's just not how science works. And I think there needs to be a lot more of an emphasis on that. And maybe we can figure out the answer in a year or two. And it just requires more funding, it requires more research and all that sort of stuff. But I think that quality, that we're going through a weird phase where the game's growing. We're adding all these more games. We're expanding the calendar. Yet our players just haven't medically evolved to be able to handle that yet. And maybe this is just the lull we're living in now for another even 5 to 10 years or a couple seasons until that sort of levels out.
Right.
I think it's also just like, in general, just like cycles. Like I know you talked about how like there's a lot of teams that are bad now, like Juventus, Sevilla, Valencia. How there's like a decline. But if you look at the NFL this year, the Jaguars a couple of years ago were really bad. The Patriots for a couple of years were really, really bad. I mean, even the Seahawks, they were struggling. It's just like cycles. Like these teams eventually picked it up, and now they're really good. Mm-hmm. I think the same thing happens in soccer. Yeah, United might be bad right now. Juventus might be bad right now. I don't know. Valencia, Dortmund maybe could be bad right now. Give a couple of years, they could evolve. They could improve again. It's just like it's phases. You naturally phase in, naturally phase out.
I bring that conversation only because I think for me, I think this is for a lot of like soccer fans who might be getting into American sports because they know World Cup or whatever the hell, getting into new sports. It's just wow, the NFL does a lot of good things in its quality here and there. And then for soccer, you're just seeing like the flaws. But I think I agree with all of your points. I think there's things soccer needs to do mainly. I think for the amount of games being played, because I think the amount of games played, quality, and then injuries, obviously. But then also, I think we're in a tough cycle that every sport is going to go through, and maybe that's just how it's going to be for a while until we get more stars, to get more teams, or teams just figure it out sooner or later, especially United, because and Madrid too, and Valencia, and Juve, especially Juve. I think we need. I think the world is missing a Juve too. I gotta bring on Gianluca soon I need to get his perspective as a Juve fan. I know Bayern has been consistent, but remember they had a rough period too, where there was like a year or two. I was like, dude, they look so miserable, but they got Kane.
Yeah, it was like a year, and then we just won the league the next season.
Yeah,
so I
just
won't
won
throw
the
us in
league
there. That's a little disingenuous to talk
That's
about.
the shortest rebuild I've ever seen in my life.
But still, that's just like it's Bayern are notorious to be known to be winning everything. But I think that's gonna be it for all of us guys. I thank you again for the time. I mean, I appreciate it. Again, the title of this episode would be disappointment after disappointment, because just disappointment after disappointment for all of our,
very happy
for some of our teams, not Bayern, because Bayern just won 8-1. And shout out to Bayern, getting approving in there. What's his name again, Isaac?
Felipe Chavez or
Felipe
Chavez.
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 Shout out to him, man. I haven't watched much of him, but now that I saw that he's made his debut and he's getting minutes, I'll definitely be.
I think he's got one senior cap too for Peru as well, but I could be wrong.
So I'll be keeping an eye. I think he's like the third Peruvian that the Bundesliga just sponsored as like to come out of the Bundesliga or be starting for like Bayern, I believe. So I'll be keeping an eye on that. Bayern always got Bayern and Peru. We got you. I think that's going to be all for episode 18 of the Out and Loan podcast. As always, I'm your host, Jeffrey Canova. Thank you for listening and tuning in. Please share your thoughts, comments, opinions, everything on our hot takes or opinions on the game or recap. Unless you're Ineos or unless you're the Glazers, you can suck it, honestly.
You can piss off, Mike.
Thank you as always, and please listen to our new episodes on YouTube as well and Spotify as well. Have a good rest of your day.